Hey, Balsa, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thanks for your patience tonight. This is part two of our episode five, Bell's Space Community. And we've already talked about the game of the week. We've already talked about the standings and talked briefly about the weekend review on which teams won and which teams lost this last week. Um, did get a cute little graphic of all the of all the worlds and all the team names. The only thing that I think that we still probably need to talk about in the weekend review is obviously we lost one of the teams um, this last week, and that was actually Aqua Phoenix. And I don't
Or
really,
Phoenix Emerald specifically.
yeah, Aqua Phoenix Emerald. And I think what's bothering me about the name change, why I'm getting confused, is because they're still not changed in the schedule, which I can understand. But anyway, point is that they have, I guess, disband would be the word, because a couple of their team members are still allowed to play in the league. But if you guys haven't been following the league, if you're living under a rock, basically, Aqua Phoenix has gotten in trouble for account sharing, which I was really shocked. I was pretty not heavily into this, but I was the team that kind of brought it forward and was really just shocked at the discipline. Like looking at the rules and what they did, and for account sharing. Now, fortunately for Lone, and kudos to Lone, he acted very swiftly on this, and he did talk. He does talk about in his rules like what account sharing looks like, what the punishment would be, and I was really shocked to see that the other members of the team got in trouble, not just Bubble, which is the owner of the account. But I mean, what's your opinion, being somebody on the outside looking into the situation, or like, what's your perception? Because, and I'd like you to answer that, but you know, us being Malice, like, other than the little conversations that are in the banter chat, the only person that really said anything to us as a group, I guess, would be Vaunted. Like, nobody individually like asked me any questions. I'm not super close to anybody outside of our team, but I thought it was really interesting that something so big and severe, like, there's almost been almost no discussion of it.
Well, I mean, it's just like in across all tiers of play. Well, I guess can't really say almost all tiers of play. There's going to be issues with Smurfs or people who share accounts, and like it's especially common in like the lower ELA leagues. So IBSG, uh, even like plats and some diamonds will still like get in trouble in their various leagues for stuff like this. And I mean, it is a pretty serious offense, and it's kind of like I feel like the reason why a lot of people haven't really been talking about it is just because like a it's expected, and b it's just like people don't really know the specifics of it. There wasn't
Mm-hmm.
anything really like major that happened.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Like
There
there
def
wasn't like a major explosion in the chat, like a whole bunch of drama saying like, "Oh, hey, they account shared, they account shared, ban them, ban them." It's just like, no, it's they're pretty much like banned silently in the night, and it's like you see the punishments tab light up, you see the bans, and you're like, okay, well, that's one less team. And a lot of people just like don't care because it's like it doesn't affect them really,
yeah.
and it's just like one less team to have to compete with in order to get to playoffs.
Or if you lost against them, and I don't know if any teams did, but if you lost against them, that's pro. Now, if you won against them, that kind of is shit. But yeah, I think you're right. In being the team that kind of was the team that brought this up, because it wasn't going to get caught unless we brought it up. We didn't have any casters for that game. We didn't have any, admin really looking at the game. But you're right. It almost seemed like it was one of those things that you've got this thing that just happens in the night, and there's not very much conversation. There's not a whole bunch of details shared, and I really don't feel like Malice went back and talked a lot of shit. And I don't think that the team that got banned out came back and talked a lot of shit either, and made it into a big stint, uh, which I guess is a good thing. And I don't know how much Lone handled outside of things, or if he, banned them from the Discord altogether, or what happened. But I find it really interesting, and who's to say? But that's why you read the rules. That's why you follow it, and that's why you always look at your employee. Your not. I was going to say employees. I work too much, I guess. That's why you. That's why you always look at like they used an e-sub within the first last 5 minutes of the match, and we were like, who is this? And so we started doing some research, and fortunately, our team, and I didn't even catch it. Our team had been scouting the other side and noticed that they were doing a stream, and they ended up watching the stream and just looking at seeing who Warden the support was playing, and noticed that it sounded like Bubble, and I guess that's one reason why, I guess, if you're gonna be doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you probably shouldn't be not vocal about it, because that's not what they were doing, but they were definitely. Bubble was not scared to be in the spotlight, I guess is my saying. You know what I mean? Like, if I was to ever play on another team, people probably, after hearing my voice for 5 episodes of this, probably know hearing my voice. You know what I mean? like there's no hiding who I am in this league anymore. But neither here nor there. I thought it was really interesting. As far as that being a thing, and they won the series. It was fairly close, but they did win the series. So that's about all for week review. The one thing that I do want to put on here.
Oh, there's still a few other things like logo ratings in general, as well as the week's awards.
Yeah, the week's awards. That's what we're going into now. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is MVP, probably the most prestigious award. And then remind me once we get done with this, and we'll talk about the logo ratings, because you do have some good logo ratings for us, and you can kind of talk about that. But the first thing is MVP, and I was really on the fence about this. And I know Balsa, I really wish I had more time, but I was working today to kind of get you in the conversation on this. But I did select Jungler based off of his actions yesterday in the game. Now, if you looked at Game 2 yesterday, I didn't watch Game 3, like I said, but the guy, if he didn't get Resiliency Award for this week, he got MVP. It was one or the other, because he was like 0-8 and whatever, and he had quite a few assists, but he stole so many objectives from you guys that it was like he just kept going, and he kept going, and he kept going, and I really think he was the deciding factor in that game too against you guys. How did you feel about that? Like,
Well, I mean, game 2 is the one that we won, though. That's the thing. Like, we won game 2, they won game 1. So like I feel like
so maybe he should have got Resiliency more than the other, because I didn't feel like game 1 was. I didn't feel like when I think about Jungler, I think he did pretty good, but he almost. If I was you guys, and if I was playing on your team or coaching you guys, I would definitely have said, man, he dives so far, and I think I talked about this on the stream. He dives so far back that his team's not available. So if you can focus him off, pick him off, and in the first game, he was pretty far ahead.
And yeah, and like in the first game, it was basically him and the mid laner that were diving the back line to target our squishies as much as they could. And more often than not, it ended up working out, since it's kind of hard to stop a Jarvan, doing the flag and drag and then dropping down with the ultimate onto the back line. And then even if you get out of that, there's still a Garen there that's just going to run at you with Q you for a tiny bit, and then basically ult and you're dead.
That Garen was a problem.
Yeah, the Garen was a big problem, and we just couldn't find a way to deal with it. Which is why I thought that the Garen, just from game 1 itself, might have gotten an award. Other than that, I feel like jungler wasn't as much of. I mean, I can see why he got the award. I just didn't think it was that big of an issue because we were like we did win game two and we should have won game three anyways. So aside from game one, which was more so the mid laner than anything else, I think it was more so like error on our parts than
Yeah,
good job by them.
and I
And
think
that's not meant to be flame at all. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they
no.
played well. They did a really good job in
Well,
playing. Like, they made us have to play hard in order to like take it to game three even. But
Well,
it
yeah,
was,
and they ended up winning. You know, you gotta respect that. But at the
yeah,
same time, you know, I have a really hard time looking at these MVPs and trying to decide. And it's not to say anything bad about Jungler or any of the other MVPs I picked, but when you look at the statistics, and I was talking to BKP who made some amazing graphics for my ones to watch. Uh, or he was saying, I'm assuming it's he was saying that. I was telling him that the problem about the MVP, and if you only do it based off of KDA, is that you're always gonna have these ADCs, which historically we haven't been doing this for very long. Is who I've been picking, and you know, I saw a lot of the different plays that the jungler was doing in the first game and the second game, invading, immediately ganking top lane that first game, and making a big difference in that game. Now, there's probably some better plays, and maybe even some better most impactful players, but that's really what I'm trying to find is the most impactful player on the series. I think he did a pretty good job at that. It's really hard to try and decide, but if anybody, any spectator of this wants to kind of shout out somebody for MVP and they have some reasons behind it, definitely send it to me. Because we even had somebody that had a pentakill this week. Didn't know about that until somebody posted a highlight clip, and really important for it's hard. It's gonna be. I'm just gonna warn everybody now. It's gonna be impossible for me to watch 4 or 5 games every week. So that's not gonna happen. So, the next thing is the best banter burn. I did not get one for this week, but I am on the watch for the best banner for this week. I've been reading steadily and just basically taking pictures of anybody got any good banter. I can tell you a bad banter, but I can't tell you a good banter. Anything you saw this week?
I mean, I don't really pay attention much to the banter channel, to be honest.
Really? Oh my gosh, it's popping.
Yeah,
It's
like I see it, and then like I think I actually have it. No, I don't have it muted. I keep on seeing it light up, but usually I end up like muting trash talk channels because it's just like it's not. I mean,
there's really
okay,
no
like
purpose.
okay. Here's the thing. Like it is kind of pointless. It's basically just it's basically just like a dick measuring contest. Like who can be
Oh my
the
gosh.
the biggest it's like who can be the biggest asshole and get away with it, like if or when they win. And it's just like I don't know. I don't really see the point in it. Like will I'll dabble in there like now and then, but
Yeah.
more often than not, it's just like
I
unhealthy.
I think it's
And like pretty much like most of my banter is just like aimed at Dota, and it's more so joking around, less so like actual flame.
Yeah, it's good to have a person that you can kind of joke with. I've been trying to do that a little bit with Unlucky, and being kind of not spiteful. Spiteful is not the right word. That's a little bit too mean, but back and forth with him. I've been enjoying it myself. But I can tell you that Muzdra's got the worst ban, not the best banter, but the worst banter this last week. Tried to make a joke, didn't work out. So go back and look at all the most for jokes that you can find. Best cast duo. I didn't really think that there was any good casts that occurred, like mini casts. So that's really going to be one of those things where we have multiple cast members, not just one set. Resiliency goes to you, man. Good job.
Which, to be honest, kind of surprised at, since resiliency is usually like you don't think of an ADC when it comes to resiliency.
Well, and let me tell you what that's all about. If things would have been any different, I think You know what? I think of you, and I'll go back to my last week's statement or whatever week it was. Is I think you're really good. I just think that, and you got. I think that if you not sometimes pick and choose what battles you have, but it's one of those things that like yesterday you were so far ahead, and all you needed was a little bit of I'm guessing a little bit of support because I didn't watch game three, but and I really just didn't think that Dr. Warlock was the right support for you. But I mean, you guys are doing work, and you're showing that you're continuing to get kills, and you're continuing to impact games, and unfortunately, you just couldn't get the 2 out of 3 last time. So I think you deserve it. If anything, like if anybody, I think you deserve that award compared to other people, just because uh, you know, because you lost first game and then won second game and then you lost the third game, but you had the most kills by far of any player. And you start looking at you look at all 5 games that occurred, and you don't see that. You don't see one player really getting ahead. Now, granted, you probably should have won that third game, but you don't see you like what I saw when I was looking at the stats this last week. Not very close games. Not very close games at all. Almost, the only games that we really went to 3 series are your game and my game, right? So I don't know. The shock attack for this week was I was really surprised at Sapphire team comp at the Lucian Olaf Talia Pantheon Orin with not running a real support, but I was also really interested in just the whole cheating thing that happened with Sapphire or Aqua Phoenix, excuse me, not Sapphire. But I think that it was interesting because you look and you say, all right, we've got to have X, we got to have Y, we got to have Z, and they went with the Pantheon, and the Lucian had Cleanse. And so I was just looking at it, and I was just really shocked at the overall concept. And we talk a lot in our chat about team comp and what we should run and who. And I don't know, Balsa. Do you guys do that? And, a lot of times when we first started, we were always thinking comfort pick, comfort pick, comfort pick. And now we've really gotten to the point where we're like, well, what can we pull out, but we can also win with as a comp? And it's just interesting. I don't know really what they were going for. I maybe need some education.
Well, I mean, for our team, we mostly just we kind of do a mixture of both. Like we still are like a new team. We still are trying to get used to each other. So there is a lot of comfort picks that go in together. But like as you saw with I think it was week 3, uh, where we got our first like series win, uh, where we just pull out a massive team fight comp with like stuff like a Moo Misfortune, just basically all of these like huge impactful ultimates
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
affect team fights, and it's just like boom, you have a team fight comp, and it's it's easy to execute, and I feel like that's what a lot of teams will end up going for
Well,
in
it's
this
easy.
league.
It's easy to do, and I think when we were playing against you guys, that was the thing. It was like, and even like this last week, it was like, all right, we got to ban MF, man. Like, and I'm just saying MF because she's really impactful alt ADC, but uh, yeah, I think if my memory serves me right, and it's not very good, is history has shown you guys, like you just said, if you're allowed to get the team fight, you're gonna wombo combo and you're gonna make them regret that. And so, looking at this, I just think, man, Olaf, Talia, Lucian, Pantheon, Orin, it can work, but to what end? So it shocked me. I'll be honest, but anyway, we'll keep going on the ones to watch. Now, here's our little graphic here. Ones to watch: the top, the jungle, the mid, the ADC, and the support. And you can't see this, can you?
No, I can't.
That sucks. Um, well, we're gonna do a very quick pause so that I can send Balsa this information. Then,
You can also share your screen. I'm pretty sure. Just use Discord.
Hey Sky, are we still scrimming?
No.
Because I got a whole team here.
I'm sorry. We're actually recording this thing, and I'll get you to upload it. We're almost done, but I really don't know. I know I have to sub out one person. Can you give me a few minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
When,
You let me know. I'm gonna start looking for another scrim though, because I got a trial. Someone's supposed to be trialing tonight, so you let me know.
Lone, reach out to Asaron, please, if you don't
I
mind.
gotcha.
Yeah, reach out to him real quick, and let me finish this. All right, boss. I sent you those pictures, so you should have them, and I'll let you just know which ones we're going with.
Ooh, some spicy nudes over here. Anyways, but yeah, we have
The
the graphics here for the ones to look out for, and should we just like go straight down top to bot?
I've got top and jungle out right now.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I don't know. I'm guessing this is gonna record my. I'm so new to fucking OBS. I'm guessing this is gonna record not my main screen, but my OBS screen. Hopefully that's what it is. We'll see. Anyway, jungle and top is what I got listed first, and we've got antics and top senpai. You want to talk a little bit about them?
Uh, you can
Whichever.
talk about them. I was
Whichever
going
one.
to talk about mid and support, to be honest.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Antics, you know, I don't I play mid, so I've got a little bit more. I've got a little bit more knowledge on that. But antics, I've casted a couple games of Falcon, I believe, and he does a really good job. And I think he's actually been on the ones to watch before, but he's really scary. He's got a per this from BKP did amazing graphics for us. He's got a 9.0 KDA right now. Very impressive. He plays for Falcon X. Total week 4 KDA at 10 4 and 23. He usually is always going to be playing some tanks. He pulled out Sejuani quite a bit. 2-0 versus Better Than Failure. He really likes to set up. The only thing that I would be really cautious of, he does counter gank a lot, and he does set up with the. He'll set around a little bit. So if you start seeing that they're kind of baiting for an engage, just watch their mannerisms. Be cautious for antics. As far as Top Senpai and Blazar Gaming, I do not know very much about him. I cannot really remember too much about him, but one of the things is he is a tree. That's funny. He draws at least 2 bans every match, so he's got a lot of people worried about him. Malphite, Orin, Maokai. 2-0 versus Event Horizon, and I'm really was surprised that Event Horizon wasn't able to get one win, but I also don't think they've been playing like the same team that they were playing like last week. And one thing that I will say that is a difference is that they are looking for an ADC right now. So if you're interested, reach out to them. Next thing that we're gonna do, let me go ahead and erase. Oh shit. Alright, and we are going to do support and mid next. Did you want to talk about Dr. Warlock? He's your buddy?
Yeah, sure.
Alright,
So support to watch out for is my laning partner, Dr. Warlock. He is basically the one to look for if you want the league hooker. He does. He has played a lot of Blitz, and funnily enough, he actually picked up Nautilus recently, like a little before the season actually started. So it's been pretty much his like two top picks, playing like Nautilus or Blitzcrank, and overall he will punish like people out of position. Like you could just see from the stats, like 321 and 38, like 38 assists is massive.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely would probably perform a ton better with the Blitzcrank. I saw yesterday a couple of things like he wants to pull, but just with that little bit extra range and being able to go through terrain would do him so much better. I really questioned him a lot early on. I really did not think that he was that good. I thought you were carrying him. He's gained a little bit more respect, and that's why he's on this list. He's obviously somebody that you feel comfortable with, or you would not have the success um, that you are having. But yeah, I think he's pretty good. I would watch him. I'd watch you in the bot lane. I think you guys are doing quite well. In mid lane, we got Dark Sovereign from Falcon X, and this was E Girl, right?
Yeah, edgy girl. However, is a guy.
Yeah.
So
Keep that in mind.
uh, I know him from Duo. So this is like pretty par for the course for him. Is the essentially Syndra, the Syndra god, uh, and like aside from Syndra though, like he still does have like a pretty wide pool. So like as you can see on the graphic, it isn't really that effective to ban him out aside from the one main pick. But all in all, yeah, he has had success in this league. Is good at not dying and is still able to get those kills with an 8 KDA.
Yeah, I think that this player is really good. I had the opportunity to play against him. I think that didn't overly engage, played the laning phase well, played to the strength of the champion. I agree. BKP, Syndra is somebody you should play it against. 7 unique champions. Now you say 7 unique champions. I don't know if that person means 7 unique champions in the last 4 weeks, or if that's 7 unique champions that they can only play. I'm assuming that's in 4 weeks, which 4 weeks means 8 games. Seven, because they've not lost. So 7 unique champions in 8 games. That's quite impressive, to be honest. Um,
Well, they have like dropped games. They just haven't dropped a series.
oh, okay. So maybe
So it's going to be a bit more than 8, probably like around like 10, maybe 10ish, maybe games.
which leaves us with the ADC to look out for, which is Triple C 321. Triple, I think, is really underrated, in my opinion. Triple went 2-0 versus Wolfpack Gaming, and they've got quite a pretty little uh, spicy is what BKP put on here. Spicy bot lane. KDA at an 8.4. I think Triple, you need to watch out for him if you're not paying attention to. How would you rate them being as an ADC? How would you rate Triple compared to the other ADCs? How do you feel about it, also?
Uh, I feel like he's definitely a contender. Like a lot of, actually, this is fair to say for most of the teams that a good portion of them have really strong ADCs, and it's is kind of a battle to try and figure out like who is the best among them, considering there are so many good ones here in this league.
Yeah, we do have quite a good supply of players and good ADCs. Really, I agree with you on that, and possibly
I
one new one coming in. Uh,
Yeah, like I would personally from these stats, I would like to see the CS per minute a bit higher, but I mean this is still IBSG, so you aren't going to be seeing it up in like 9, 10 plus a lot.
yeah, I think it. I think the mid at 6.6 and the ADC at 6.3. I don't think that's terrible. I agree with what you're saying. Well, over the last week, we've had no rule changes, and we really haven't had anything other than the stuff that we've already talked about. So I think that kind of leaves us wrapping up at like a 41-minute mark for our episode. But also, thank you so much for gathering some data for this week. And I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I know that's a headache. Thank you for being patient with me starting late. And I hope that you enjoyed yourself here. And I don't think you made any mistakes. So kudos to you. I made a couple myself. So good luck
Well,
this.
yeah,
Good.
it was definitely fun to co-host, and I'd be down again if ever needed.
All right, Balsa. Well, good luck this week. I hope that you have success because you're not playing me. So best of luck to you. All right, man. Take care.
All right, you too.